It was a very beautiful thing, Doris. There was nothing ugly or disgusting about what we did.
Then how come you look so down in the dumps?
Because my wife is going to kill me.
Well, how's she gonna find out?
She knows already.
You said she was in New Jersey.
It doesn't matter, she knows.
How?
Was it as incredible for you as it was for me?
Do all men like to talk about it a lot afterwards?
Why, you think I'm some kind of a pervert or something?
Oh, no, I was just curious. See, I was a virgin when I got married. Well, at least sort of.
Sort of.
Well, I was pregnant, but I don't count that.
Hello and welcome to Bencher Movie Club. My name's Ben.
My name's Charlie.
And today we're doing the 1978 film Same Time Next Year.
Yeah, directed by Robert Mulligan, who sadly died in 2008, age 83 from heart disease. He directed To Kill a Mockingbird and The Man in the Moon. So, you know, he'd done some pretty big films before this. Starring Alan Alda, who was in MASH, What Women Want, The Object of My Affection, and Ellen Burstyn from Exorcist, Requiem for a Dream, and Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. That's pretty much it. There are other people, but it's
yeah, but the other people are basically tiny little bit parts. You wouldn't even know them.
Yeah, they're like
it's only
props.
one other person, isn't it? Just like the caretaker.
No, I mean there's like technically there's like a waiter and a
yeah,
barman.
I wouldn't.
So.
Basically, it's a two-man show.
Yeah.
I think they only put them people in it because of for the film. Whereas on the stage show, it's obviously just two people. It's them all the way through. The story is about a couple that meet. It's 1951 is when it starts. They're both married. They meet at this cabin, this like little motel sort of place with all these cabins, and he goes there once a year to do his books for one of his clients, and she goes there for like a retreat sort of thing. So it's like they're both married to separate people, but they meet on this first trip in 1951, and then they sort of start up an affair, and they go back the same time each year, and it just shows how their lives and how their relationships and children and life. And how they both grow and different things that happens in like the 50s, 60s, 70s. It's a very interesting way of looking at it. I like the idea of it, and I love the film. And it's not really a well-known film, I don't think. It probably is, but I don't know many people that know it. It might have been bigger in America. I don't know. But I did see it years ago, and it was Mum that was watching it that I watched it with. I just loved it. I just thought it was a really nice story. It's well written. They're good fleshed out characters, and it just shows how their lives change. It's like she starts off quite like just a young housewife. She's not very
like a little dollmouse.
Academic, you know, and she didn't finish high school because she got pregnant, and as it progresses throughout. You see how she then goes back to school, and then she gets her own business, and she starts.
She becomes a hippie.
Yeah, she becomes a hippie. Yeah, she's sort of. She starts living her life, and he does the same. His life goes in one direction. I just loved it. So, what did you think of the film then? Because you'd never seen it before, had you?
Well, it's funny that you say about Mum introduced you to it, because I said to her, right, we're going to watch the Same Time Next Year. She went, well, what's that about? She didn't remember it. Until we started watching it, she was like, "Oh right, okay, yeah."
I'm sure she's going somewhere because she loved this film.
It's funny when you say about, because what I like is it shows. I think it's 6 different times that it shows us 6 different years, and it shows them about 5 years apart each time.
Yeah, it's roughly about 5 years.
So it's 51, and then the next time they go back, it's like 56.
Yeah, I think there's 1 year that it sort of skips an extra year because of things that's happened. Because it shows you in between each scene. It's little flashbacks of what's going on.
It's like a little montage.
Little montage of what's been going on in them 5 years, like to do with like the world. You know, things that's happening in the world.
Well, you say it's more American history.
Yes.
I noticed that because there's loads of things there I think, I don't know him, I don't know this, I don't know that. There's a couple of people you go, okay, I know John F. Kennedy.
Yeah.
Beatlemania, okay,
Yeah.
I know what's
Yeah.
going on here.
Yeah.
What it reminds me of as well, like how it shows various things in history, like how it jumps various times, is like Forrest Gump. How Forrest Gump shows, like you can watch Forrest Gump and it's sort of like, it shows you this story with the backdrop is being American history.
Yeah.
Throughout that very specific period in time. And I was thinking about that period of time. It's probably like the most eventful period of time in human history, like pop culture wise. It was such an explosion with TV, television, and all the things that happened in rock and roll. And it's perfect for that time. If, like when you mentioned before about a remake, if they remade it and they say it now,
What would they say?
they'd have to start, say, about 81.
Yeah.
And you
No,
go,
it's-
okay, well, yeah. But then by the time it gets to like the noughties,
I mean, it could be done, but I don't think it will be as fascinating. And also the changes wise.
Yeah.
Okay, there's the internet. I suppose you could argue that the internet would be a massive change in something, and our technology sort of has changed things. But I think it's done so beautifully in the way that these decades were so noticeable. Like you knew, like within these, like the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, it was all so far apart from each other and so very significant. And it's like there was like you could go to a fancy dress party and you could dress up in a certain way and you know you're from that decade. I think from 2000 to now, 2024,
It's all the same.
I think it's roughly about
It's
the
like
same.
that's what we're wearing, pretty much.
Yeah.
What we're wearing now, you could have wore 20 years ago and no one would have batted an eyelid.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think there's been any specific change, which I also I think is quite sad.
Crocs.
Because it's like... Okay, we've got Crocs.
Yeah, but that's crap. It's like, it was never popular. No, you're right, there's nothing really...
I think, like, you know, it would be lovely to have known the last, so you say, 20 years, like the sort of 2000, 2010 to 2020, for you to look and go, oh, yeah, that star was for that. And, like, you could go to a fancy dress party, we're going from the noughties up to 2010, and we're going to go from the 10s to the 20s. You wouldn't... You couldn't... People would go, well, what am I going to dress up as? An Apple computer.
Yeah, and with music... Like, there's been no real new music, like no new genre. Because when you think about, like...
It's all mass-produced now.
Because when you think about each decade, where you'll have rock and roll, and then you'll have sort of progressive rock, and you have the new romantics and punk rock, and even things like rap music first coming out in like the 80s and 90s, and all this other
House
stuff.
music, acid house, and all that kind of stuff. It's nothing.
What have we had over the last 24 years? What's a new genre of music which has really sort of broken
You
the
had all
mold?
like Britpop, didn't you? And all like that, yeah. All the
Indie
sort of
music,
indie music.
Yeah. But yeah, I did like the film.
Oh, I'm glad you liked it.
It was... at first, I was thinking, am I going to get on board with this? Because I don't like anything which glorifies adultery anyway. And I knew that what this was about. And also where they've got partners who aren't necessarily bad. From the sounds of it, their partners are good
nice people, yeah.
Like she even says, I feel like I'm best friends with your wife.
Yeah.
It took me a while to sort of think, okay, I'll get past that. But I think what's good is because they almost, you can see from their first encounter, they're a little bit unsure, like, this is crazy, we shouldn't have done this.
Yeah.
And then it's almost like they're an old married couple, but they only spend, I mean, how long is it?
A weekend.
Yeah,
I think
so
a weekend
they've spent
every year.
They've spent like 60 days together by the end of it, and that's like no time at all.
Yeah.
You know, I've been in relationships longer than that, and they've meant nothing.
Yeah.
So but it's nice where you can believe their chemistry as well, which is good. She's a great actress, Ellen Burstyn.
She's brilliant, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's really good.
And
I mean, all I know her from before this, obviously, is The Exorcist. And that's all she was known for, really. Well, I think that's what most people would know her from. But she's a fantastic actress, and she's funny. She's really funny as well. And she's got amazing skin. Like, you know, you see her in the beginning parts and all that. Like, they originally didn't want to cast her for this because of her age.
Why? How old was she when she done this?
I don't know, but she would have been old. This is after The Exorcist. The Exorcist was 73. This is 70. It's 5 years after The Exorcist. But she looks younger in this than she does in The Exorcist.
Well, she does at the beginning. And then
Yeah,
at the end. So
but she looks really. Her skin looks like almost like sort of porcelain in the beginning part of this film.
And with Ellen Alda, he's never been in my mind as someone who's a phenomenal actor or anything like that.
No.
But he's a very distinctive actor. He's got that very distinctive voice. You know, he's
Bit Dick Van Dyke, I find.
maybe that's because he's tall and skinny.
Yeah, probably.
But he's just like,
An American.
yeah. Wow, that's just amazing. Look at this. Wow, wow, wow. Like when you hear his voice, because they're both still alive as well.
How old's Alan Alda now then?
Because he's about the same age as her.
Oh, 'cause she's 91, I think now. Ellen Burstyn.
So, and when you hear his voice in cartoons, like I'm sure he was in Family Guy and stuff like he's such a distinctive voice.
Yeah.
But you know who he reminded me of a lot in this, especially the early bits when he's young and he's neurotic.
Yeah.
A bit like Billy Crystal. No, like in When Harry Met Sally.
Okay.
You know, I could easily have seen him playing that part.
Yeah.
Like say if it was done 10 years later.
Yeah.
But I think he done really good in this, and I think she's the better actor of the two.
Yeah.
But he still manages to hold his own and is good against her.
Yeah.
You know, because it's important, especially for a two-man production like this.
Somebody has a rotten sense of timing.
Damn. Hello? Yes, this is Daddy. Is there anything wrong?
I'm glad you liked it, because I didn't know what you was going to make of it. It's one of them like risky ones, isn't it? Because I knew with the cheating aspects, I know that you're a bit like, no, don't like that. But then looking past that and the relationship they've got, and there's some, like, as I say, there's going to be spoilers in this, obviously, and there's some really sad moments. Like the bit with, like, when she's the hippie and she's going, I don't know you at all, like, you're
Why
like
would
a
you feel like
fascist
this?
and all this, and how can you, like, condone war and all this kind of stuff, and then you find out his son got killed, and, like, helping someone into a helicopter, and he was shot by a sniper sort of thing, and, you know, and it's really sad, you know, it actually sort of teared me up a little bit. I thought, like, it's so, that's what I like about this film. It's got all these dips and highs and lows, and
I weren't sure how that was going to end, because where it has the highs and lows. I thought, well, it's a comedy. You know, there is genuine funny moments in it, and you got those sort of morose moments as well. But then at the very end, when he puts the point to us, says, look, my wife's died. I want to marry you. If I don't marry you, I end up marrying this other woman.
Yeah.
And she's like, I can't. I'm already married.
Yeah.
And he leaves.
Yeah.
And it holds on her for long enough when she's sort of like feeling sad, and you think,
Is it going to end there?
she's really sad, because it's before the internet, it's before mobile phones, anything like that. That was it. If he was telling the truth then and had disappeared and ran off, chances are they never would have seen each other again. She probably would have stopped going there.
Yeah.
You know, but it was nice, that little sort of thing, him running in, going, all right, fine.
Yeah. It's a lovely end. And I tell you what I love as well, because the year before, the 5 years before, he basically saved their marriage, because it looked like they was going to split up.
Yeah.
Because she's this businesswoman now, and she's like this, and it's like there's a big distance between the two of them, and then she's out in the car getting stuff out of her car, and he phones up, and then he speaks to him, but
the husband phones up.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm only saying that because we often go he, she,
oh
she.
right, yeah, no, the
people get
husband,
lost.
what's her name? Doris's husband phones up,
Yeah.
and he's speaking to him, and you're thinking, oh, is he going to tell him that I've been having an affair with her?
Yeah.
And he goes, well, how do you know my wife? And he's like, oh, I'm Reverend.
Yeah.
I'm Father Michael. So you know, so you know that.
Yeah,
he's going to think, oh, okay, it's not someone she's having an affair with.
Yeah.
But he basically saved their marriage, and then his wife dies, and it seems like her husband is ill health, and you think, well, it's not going to be long before her husband dies, and I think that's what that's what I got from it, that he will probably die not too long.
He'll probably outlive her husband.
Yeah, and then I reckon, because he was like, I think she mentions he's got like quite bad health, and he'd had a heart attack and all this kind of stuff. So I think then she, it's sort of saying as though like her husband's probably not gonna last long.
Harry.
Yeah. And it's like the fact that she's sort of like, I'm going to stay with him. She doesn't. She's like, she goes, no, because he's my husband. That's when people took marriage seriously. Well, okay, apart from the adultery part of it, but
yeah.
No, but like there's that You know, I think it's a lovely film, and it's
It's got a similar premise to one of Robert Mulligan's earlier films. He'd done a film called Come September in 1961, which was about like a couples at a retreat and having an affair and stuff. But from the premise of that, I don't think I would enjoy that one as much.
No, this I think I like as you said, the decades really sort of pop. Like you've got the 1950s with all that. It's so typical sort of like 50s clothes, and then you've got like the later in the 50s she's got like the bleach blonde hair, like the Marilyn Monroe sort of type look, and then she goes into the sort of 60s when she becomes a hippie, and I'd love all the different looks, and the time when she turns up and she's pregnant, so all these little twists each time. And then she gives birth, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And then you find out she's called her little girl Georgette or something after him.
Yeah.
But there's all these little things that happen throughout the relationship. So I thought it was a really, really lovely storyline. And the song, what did you think of the song?
The song, the last time I felt like this.
Yeah,
it was all right. Although at the very beginning, I thought the editing was a bit too much on the point. It's like it's on him when he's sort of like it looks like a bit of a cheesy commercial, and then when it cuts to her, the woman starts singing, and it's like, is this in their minds? Are they like telepaths? Are they?
No, I think it's just basically saying that they're sort of falling for each other.
Yeah, but no. Eventually, then it was who was it? Johnny Mathis
and Jane Oliver.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is with this song, I love this song in the film. Love this song. The version that is like, if you look it on Spotify or something like that, I don't like. It's sung differently. You know, like, I noticed that in films. I noticed that with the song from Shirley Valentine, the song at the beginning of that. It's sung in a sort of softer, more, it's a nicer way, whereas the versions that are released, as though like the single version,
it's overproduced.
I don't like. Whereas I like the subtleness of this, and I like the fact that it changes the lyrics in certain parts, and it ends this song. It sort of ends as though if we'd only, what would have happened if I'd smiled and walked away, we'd not be here today.
It is a different version at the end. It's different words at the end, isn't it?
I don't know actually. It might actually have the same words. It's just I don't like the way they sing it. I don't like the way they sing it in the released version. I like the way it's sang in this. It's sort of softer, you know. And I find that with a lot of movie soundtracks that you go, oh, I love that song, I'm going to play, and then they release the record, and you go, no, I don't like that. I don't like the version. I prefer the version from the film. So I don't know why they do that. Because if it's not broke, why fix it?
But it's funny you mentioned of Shirley Valentine as well, doing a different version, because that and this song were both nominated at the Academy Awards.
Okay.
They both lost out, but it's funny that a song which is so big at the time that it gets Oscar nominated is then forgotten, because you don't hear this song on the radio.
I've only ever heard it from the film.
It was actually nominated for 4 Oscars. It lost out Best Actress to Jane Fonda, Coming Home. It lost out Screenplay from an Existing Source to Midnight Express. It lost out Cinematography to Terrence Malick's Days of Heaven, which was like his second film. It's got Richard Gere in it. And the song it lost out to Last Dance by Paul Jabala. You know, Last Dance.
Donna Summer.
Last Dance. Oh yeah, I think so. But Paul Jabala wrote it. Although I think the song that should have won that year was Hopelessly Devoted to You.
Oh, okay.
From Greece.
Oh, it's 1978, yeah. That's a brilliant song, and the words in it are lovely as well, and she sings it lovely.
Yeah. The cinematography in this, I wasn't over impressed with, because I felt it was like a TV movie. You know, it's nothing against the rest of the film. I love the screenplay, the acting, everything else is fine. It's just, when I was watching it, I thought, is this like a direct-to-TV film? I was surprised that it
does
wasn't.
feel like that, actually, and maybe that's the reason why I don't know where to place it a lot of the time, because it doesn't feel like a Hollywood production sort of movie. You know what I mean? It feels like it was made for TV. You know? But I do love the film, and I think it's well acted. I think she's a really good actress, and he's a good actor. I mean, they both played the parts. They both played the parts really well.
Yeah, I think what helped her as well, and more so than Alda, because she was in the original Broadway production, which opened at the Brooks Atkinson Theatre on the 14th of March 1975 and ran for 1,453 performances until the 3rd of September 1978. And the play was nominated for the 1975 Tony Award for Best Play, and she won Best Actress.
Yeah.
So she already knew the story inside out anyway. Alan
That's
Alda
like Rocky
came
Horror
on
Show,
late.
isn't it?
Yeah.
They'd done that for like X amount of performances, and Abigail's Party, because they'd played it so well that by the time it came to filming it, it was just like second nature to them. You know.
This originally received an R rating from the MPAA.
Why's that? Because of the theme.
Probably like the adultery, but the rating was changed to PG on appeal. So they said, look, you can appeal these things. You can say, look, be realistic here. There's nothing that violent happens. There's nothing.
No.
It's all consensual. Everything's fine. It was also included among the American Film Institute's 2002 list of 400 pictures nominated for the top 100 America's Greatest Love Stories movies.
Yeah, it is a good love story. It is a nice, and it's nicely paced as well. It's quite a long film, I think, isn't it? I think it's longer. I thought it was only about an hour and a half, and I think it's about
2 hours.
Yeah, but it felt like it didn't feel like it's dragging. Now I need to know what it's. Each story's got its own bit. Like it's got obviously the meeting. Then it's like the 1956 when she's got the blonde hair, and he gets a phone call from his daughter, and he starts freaking out, and he's going, I've got to go get a plane home. And it looks like he jumps on the plane, and then all of a sudden he's there, and it's like she's like going, okay, if you're going to get on the plane, that's it. I'm not going to come here again. I'm not going to see you again.
Oh, what a bitch.
But no, and then that's what I'm saying. He's because he's overreacting, and he's obviously getting the guilt thing. And then I think the next time they see each other, is that when she's pregnant?
Well, it's not the next time they see each other in the film. The next time we get to see them.
Because that would be, so that would have been 56, so 72, I think. Yeah, that would have been when she turns up pregnant. Because then the time after that is when she's a hippie.
Well, it'd been 71. If they're
71. And then the next time they turn up again, she's the hippie. And like the first thing she says to him, she goes, hey man, she goes, wanna fuck? And he's like,
I was like, yeah.
He goes,
get down to it.
She's going, well, he goes, that's not really a nice way to start a conversation. Like, she's all free love and peace and,
but at this point, he's mourning the loss of his son.
Yeah, which you don't find out at the moment. It looks like they're about to split up, and all of a sudden, then he sort of blurts it out to her. And I found that really sad. It did put a tear in my eye, actually. I did sort of think that was quite sad, that part.
With the cinematography, I feel a bit bad slagging it off. I'm not slagging it off so much, but I think the reason it might have been nominated is it was the final film of the Hollywood cinematographer Robert Surtees, and he had a long career before. Like, he'd done The Star Is Born, The Sting, Last Picture Show, Graduate, Mutiny on the Bounty, Ben-Hur, Oklahoma. So he obviously he had loads of a big body
nice
of work.
Films, listen, I know where you're coming from. I don't know what it is. I don't know. It's just something about it feels like it's a TV movie.
Yeah.
I don't know how you'd change that. I don't know what. It might just be the theme. It might just be because it's all set in the same place.
The lighting. It
the
could
lighting.
Be so many
it could
things,
be so many things, but it doesn't take away from. If it's a good story, it doesn't matter.
No.
But I can see where you're coming from.
Exteriors for the film was shot at the Heritage House Inn in Little River, California. After filming was completed, Universal paid for the shell of the cottage to be relocated to a permanent foundation, and the interior was outfitted with the studio furnishings. It became a popular romantic getaway, so popular in fact that the Heritage House eventually partitioned the cottage in half and added a second bathroom to the opposite end. One half was called Same Time and the other half called Next Year. The Heritage House closed due to foreclosure in December 2008.
Oh.
It still stands, updated and remodelled, and it reopened in 2013.
I don't like the fact that they split it in half, because that just sounds to me like greed. It's like, we'll make double the amount of money. Whereas if you've seen this film, you think, I want to go and stay in that nice little hut. Because it's not a very big place anyway. It ain't like, it could be made into two places. It's quite small. And there'll be like two little pokey places. You go, I'm going to go and stay in the cabin of Same Time Next Year. And you're going to go, it's like a shoebox.
We should have really looked it up, see what it looks like now. Because the shell, the outside shell, actually looks fairly big. So maybe they've recreated like two separate ones and stuck a bathroom.
Yeah, because it does look really. Actually, yeah. Well, hopefully, if that's the case, then maybe then it would work. But it's everything seems about money nowadays. But also, interestingly about that, the inspiration behind this film is because Bernard Slade and his wife had stayed at this inn a couple of years before. And he said he stayed in this cabin, and there was like an out-of-tune piano, there was a log fireplace, and there was all this antique furniture, and that was in his mind. It started his thinking about making this film. So
And cheating on his wife.
I don't know about that part.
Hey, man, what do you say?
So, wanna fuck?
What?
You didn't understand the question?
Of course I did. I just think it's a damned odd way to start a conversation.
Gee, I thought it was a great little icebreaker.
The thing I'm thinking why it might not be as big as what it could be is I looked at it and thought, it's a nice romantic film. I could watch it with someone. But is she thinking, why is he showing me this? Am I his bit on the side?
Right.
Or even if she knows she's not my bit on the side, is he trying to justify him having a bit on the side? Because sometimes some women, not all women, some women do these mental gymnastics thinking, what are you showing me that for? Oh yeah, who's the woman you've got on the side?
Yeah.
Am I, you can't wait till I die, can
Yeah.
you? So you can go off with the woman you meet up each year.
It seems to me like they're soulmates in this.
Yeah.
They seem like they love their partners, they love their families. Because that's what's sad about, when his son dies, because he's always, each year he's talked about this son Michael, and he's quirky, and she goes like, you've got a special spot for him. He keeps doing all these really mad little things, and it's like you sort of get to know him as well through the film. And then when you hear that he dies, and I think that's why it's sort of quite sad, that part.
Yeah.
Because you sort of built up a character inside your head. Like with her stories of her husband and him they tell a good story about their husband each year, about her husband each year, and a bad story, and he does the same for his wife. So you get an idea of their relationships as well. And they're both nice, so they both sound like decent partners. There's nothing wrong with their relationships, really.
Which is a testament to the writer as well, because he could have played it easy and she had an abusive husband, or he had like some old drunk lush as a wife who's probably cheating on him.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They made them respectable, nice people. So then it gives the actors more stuff to work over. They really have to win you round because you're thinking, well, why are you cheating on them if they're so good?
Yeah.
But you look at their relationship and think, it's once a year, it's their little getaway.
But if you was the partner of them, you wouldn't accept that. You wouldn't be looking at it in the same way. You wouldn't be going, it's all right, because he only goes in season once a year. Like, you'd be sitting there.
I wouldn't mind.
Yep.
Give me a weekend to wait off.
Did you know Al Pacino is also up for the role of George?
Really?
Yeah.
And they went with Alan Alda.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad they did, because I think he's right for the part, Alan Alda. I think.
And this would have been after Dog Day Afternoon. Was that 75?
This was after Godfather. This is after Dog Day Afternoon.
You would have thought he would have been the bigger choice. Maybe it would have made it more of a Hollywood kind of film then.
And maybe the budget would have gone up. It might have been like, well, no, because Pacino's salary is half the cost of the film.
Yeah. Maybe it might have been that. Also, did you know Paul McCartney was asked to write the theme song for this? He came up with a song called Same Time Next Year, although it was rejected.
Have you heard it?
No, it's a B-side of one of his songs.
I've heard it.
Is it
it's
good?
On YouTube. You know what? It's not that bad. It's not as good as I think. I think they made the right decision, and it's quite hard sometimes to make those decisions when you think, wow, we've got a former Beatle has written a song for our film. You almost straight away go, of course we're going to use it.
Yeah.
But then obviously they've had to listen to and wear up the songs.
Yeah.
And it's a nice song. It's got nice words.
But it's not as nice as the one that they used, or poignant as the one they used.
And it's like what you'd expect from a Paul McCartney song. You know?
Okay.
It's like, same time next year.
Okay, well I'll go with that one then.
But no, it's worth listening to. You when I've read that, I thought I'm going to go have a quick listen, see if it's terrible. It's not on Spotify, which is annoying, but it is on YouTube.
Oh, you find everything on YouTube. There's always something on YouTube. The time span of this movie is 26 years, starting from 1951 to 1977. So it's, as you say, it's quite distinctive sort of times in that year, like in them years. That's why like the fashions can sort of show you what decade you're in, which is good as well.
They couldn't have gone past that because obviously that was the year it came out. So it's like they went right up
Yeah,
to
that's
date.
exactly it. It basically took it up to date. And I thought, I can't think the 80s. Well, the 80s hadn't started then. You know, like, it's only when you think, hang on a minute, it's 1978 this was released, so it was still in the 70s. So it was, up to date, bang up to date.
And the next one would have been 82.
Yeah, that would have been quite good. Yeah, but then there would have been old people in the 80s.
Yeah.
You know? So it wouldn't have had the same sort of 80s vibe. Whereas,
how old are they supposed to be at the end? Do you know? I think they were meant to be about 70s. They're in their 70s by that point, aren't they?
I don't know, but it's only 26 years. And if you think...
How old were they when they first met?
Yeah.
Mid-20s?
That's what I'm saying. I think I worked out they was only in their, 40s.
No.
Late 40s. No, I think it worked out. And I thought... Because I was trying to do the math, and I was thinking, because she left school because she got pregnant. She didn't finish school. So how old would that have made her? 16?
Okay.
17?
But she hadn't finished school at that point, had she?
No, but that's the reason why that she... Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
How old was her kid? Because her kid could have been a 10.
Yeah.
So
26. Yeah, because I looked and I thought, oh no, they look definitely older than their 40s. I would have thought like sort of 50s, 60s, maybe it ended up them in their 60s.
yeah.
I would have thought because of the look of them. But it's hard to tell sometimes because like old fashions...
Yeah,
people in the olden days looked older, didn't they? But
Yeah. The original West End production in 1976 was at the Prince of Wales Theatre, starring Francis Cukor and Michael Crawford.
Michael Crawford. Who's Francis Cooker? I don't know who she is. I haven't heard of her.
No, but Michael Crawford, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, Betty.
Well, we probably weren't doing it like that.
Same time next year.
The director, Robert Mulligan, did not want to see the stage play as he wanted an unaffected vision for his film, which I understand that in certain ways. You know, people have got an idea in their head, whereas if they see, like, the famous production, it can sort of mess up with their version and their vision of it. So I can get that. I do understand that.
So if a gun to your head and you had to do a remake of this, who would you cast as the main two?
Oh,
So you'd have to pick
it'd have to be young people now. I don't really know many young people now.
30s or 40s, because then they can do it. Because
I don't really know any actresses. See, I don't follow all these young actresses now.
Because they can do de-aging. So it could be someone in their 40s.
Yeah, I don't know really. Who would you pick?
Don't know.
So that's what I thought you've asked me because you've got an idea in your head. See,
You could go like Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore.
oh, that'd be nice.
And you like
say a few years ago when they was round about the time they done Wedding Singer.
But what I'm thinking is, if you've done them now, because they do all this de-aging stuff, they can make people look really young. And when they first meet, make them look like how they are when they're in Wedding Singer.
Yeah.
And then you do slightly less de-aging for the next
I
few
suppose
years.
what other couples go well together? Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks go well together. That would have probably been quite good.
Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone.
Yeah,
They'd be
been a
good
nice
because they've
one.
got great chemistry.
Yeah,
and
I
they're
think
great actors.
as long as you've got good chemistry with your co-star, that you know, like there's certain people that they work so well together, and they want to see more films with them two as a couple. I think it would work with any of them. Like all the ones we've said, I can see it with each of them. I think Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler would have been quite funny because of the quirkiness and the funny bits as well. Would have been quite funny with them.
Comedy,
They would have done the comedy so good.
All those ones we mentioned, they'll do comedy. So I think any of them it could have worked.
Yeah, good question actually. Yeah, the film rights for the stage play were purchased for $1 million
Bloody hell.
for this film. Yeah, it's a lot.
That
If you
is a
think
lot.
78,
Yeah.
he was laughing all the way to the bank, wasn't
Yeah. You'd think, let's write our own script.
he? Yeah,
I would have done it for half as much.
yeah. So what decade did you like the best in it?
Well, this is why I liked the period that it was set, and I don't think a remake would work because they're like, for me, they're like some of my favourite decades. You know, historically.
So you wouldn't change the decades. You wouldn't. I think if I'd done it, I would have started it later. No, later 50s, maybe towards the end of the 50s. Started it then, and then so you're going into the 60s, then the 70s, and then ended it in the 80s.
Well, I would have probably had it. I probably would have started it. I would have made it a little bit longer of time period. because I think people live longer now anyway.
Yeah.
So I would have started their first meet, say, late 50s, 59.
Yeah.
And I would have ended it early 90s.
Yeah.
You know, so they're sitting there listening to Tom's Diner or something like that. Susan
But
Vegas.
see, on the whole, I like the film anyway. I think it's done well, and I'm glad you liked it. I didn't know what you was going to say about it, and I was expecting some bit of a backlash because of Bulworth.
I'm not like that. I'm not petty. Yeah. So do you think this justifies infidelity then?
Well, no, but it happens.
Say if you had a partner and one day that like you was with them for like 30 years and they said, listen, I've got a confession. I've been seeing the same person, the same bloke for the last 30 years every year. Every time I say I'm going away for that...
well, I personally wouldn't like it, no.
No, but they said, but you know that film same time next year? It's exactly like that. Me and him are soulmates. But you're all right. I'll stick with you till you die.
No, actually, maybe, no, okay, when you look at it like that.
The funny thing is, though, I don't know if I'm just saying this because... I don't know why I feel like this. I think if I knew the relationship was like the one they had, I don't think I'd be jealous necessarily. Especially if I knew that she did love me.
If you're banging love with someone...
Yeah, but...
And then you find out that this is happening, I think even if they had a one-night stand, let alone an affair that lasts 30-odd years, whatever it's going to be... And you'd feel like, oh right, so they get the best of you that weekend,
and I have to
put up with all the highs and lows, but they get
you dress up and shave yourself for them, and I have to put up with the bloody Amazon for the rest of the year.
Yeah,
you're farting in bed.
Yeah, okay, all right. No, but it is. It's a lovely. I like films that are different. They ain't like you don't know where it's going to go. Like when you turn that film on, you weren't sitting there going, "Oh, I know how this is going to end."
No, but I do like these films which are sort of concentrated in one area, one scenario, sort of like just one little location.
And it's hard to keep people entertained for that amount of time in one location. You know, because the location doesn't change.
No,
and it is like for to keep people amused. So it shows what a good script it is.
So would you take someone to this log cabin?
Oh, I'd love to.
Yeah,
I think I'd love to. I would love to go there. I didn't know that it actually existed, but hearing about it and then hearing it had been split into two, and I thought, oh, it's going to be the size of what this room is here. You know, it's going to be like a little studio. It's going to be like a bed and this because of the greed of like they gifted it to them. They made the shell on the outside, and the studio gifted it, and they decked it out with all the stuff from the film, and then they've gone, oh, thanks, we will split it in half, and we can make double the money. And I thought, that's a bit slidey.
But you can also think, well, like if even if it was that and you only have half, you think, this is the actual piano that he uses, this is the actual chair, this is all the actual... Because what I like is that they use the actual props from the film when they've put it in.
But they've probably sold all them on eBay and they've probably got some crap bits and they've gone, oh yeah, that's the original one. I go, well, that's a completely different colour, different shape. So no, but I like the idea of it. I love the idea because it's a beautiful view.
Yeah.
I mean, that place, wherever that is, look, right on the beachfront and right on you see the sea and the cliffs, and it's just lovely. It's just really nice little place. And yeah, it would be a nice little romantic place. I mean, surely you'd take someone there, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know, so it'd be lovely.
I wonder if it's one of those things where you could hire out. You just hire out
like Airbnb sort of thing.
But you can hire out both rooms. Same time and next year, because then you think, okay, we've got this wall in between, but at least we've got the whole place.
But you said it's reopened then, so it has reopened.
Yeah, it reopened.
It'd be interesting to see. I mean, if I owned it, I'd open it up to just one. But then if it was extra big, maybe it could. Maybe as long as it looks the same inside, you'd go, okay, I could deal with that. Because as long as it looks the same, doesn't matter if they're back onto each other.
Well, you've got to bear in mind as well, even if they hadn't divided it, nothing ever looks the same as it does on film.
No.
You'd probably go in and go, did it look a lot smaller?
Yeah.
So it probably naturally looked a lot smaller anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
But looking at the size of it, half in that, from the size of it in the film, you can't half that. You know, because it's going to be literally, it'll be like a bedroom. Oh, yeah. IMDb, it got 7.2.
Right, okay.
Rotten Tomatoes, it got 40% by the critics and 85% by the audience.
That's a big difference, isn't it?
Yeah, but the audience seemed to like it a lot more than the critics did. Right, the budget was... I don't know exactly how much it cost to make the film, but it made 19.7 million. I know it cost $1 million to buy the rights for the stage play.
Right.
But it couldn't have cost that much, I would have thought. Really,
No.
it's the two people. And it's in one location. It's in 1978.
No, I think maximum 5 million to make it. I think it'd be
Not
less.
even that.
No, I think it's about 2 mil, maybe.
Yeah, I'd
maybe.
say. If you think it's a two-player, it's a two-parter. So yeah,
So yeah, it's got to be profitable then.
yeah,
Yeah.
all good.
Right.
Right, so well, I'm glad you like the film, Charles.
Yeah.
And yeah, so what are we going to be doing next week then?
Well,
Why are you smirking like that?
because I don't know how you're going to react to it.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Marvel or something like that, innit?
Close. We'll do Annie.
Annie?
Yeah.
Oh, I love Annie.
Yeah.
Oh, what, the original one? Or that woke one?
Which spoke right? No, Annie 2, Lost in London.
No.
No, yeah,
No,
with the
Annie.
original
Oh,
Annie.
Annie. Oh,
Yeah.
excellent. I love Annie.
Yeah, and we're going to have Lily on it as well because she loves that film.
Excellent.
So we'll do a deep dive on that one. And
Yeah, and I think I know of some interesting facts about that as well.
Okay, we'll
So
say
it'd be interesting. I ain't gonna say but yeah, I know some facts.
Yeah, it's a fantastic musical, early 80s.
Brilliant musical.
Fantastic.
They don't really
cast.
make musicals now, do they? Really?
Well, they do, but they're not. It's not as much.
Like kids musicals, like Willy Wonka, like Bugsy Malone, like Annie, like they don't make stuff like that.
No, don't. But films go through a period of time. It's like you'd have in the 90s. There was disaster films. Everything was disaster films, like Armageddon, Volcano, stuff like that.
Twisters and all that.
Twister and Independence Day, and then people lose interest. Now at the moment, it's all superhero films. Eventually, that fad will go, and people will start going. They don't make superhero films anymore, do they?
Yeah, but they're overkill with that. There's too many of them.
But this is what people probably said about musicals for a while. You think in the 70s, it's by that point it was musicals all the time. And they go, I'm sick of musicals. I thought it was a serious drama, and all of a sudden he starts singing, going, I'm the one who gave
But that's
you
what
the
they all
AIDS."
started off on. They all, it was all musicals from the 50s. Lots of singing stuff in the 50s, and it's just it's like watching a show. It's like watching a theatre production.
I know loads of people.
I think there's
hate
always a
musicals.
space for it. There's always space for it. I mean, look at Rocky Horror Show and things like that. You know,
Yeah.
Grease.
Yeah.
You know, it's just there's nothing that I think that you could think of late that would stand up alongside all them ones. Do you know what I mean?
So next week's Annie.
All right, okay.
Yeah? All right.
All right, okay. So, well, thanks for listening, and please share
Yeah.
this. to-
Share.
Yeah.
Because you've got to edit this. So
Right.
share it as much as you can.
Yeah.
Big share.
Yeah.
Little share. Share.
All right, stop with your shares.
Share it.
Right, okay, yeah. So please, please
Like, subscribe,
like
and
and
share.
subscribe because that way people will find us. Right, thank you very much, and we'll see you next week for Annie.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Let's just forget it, huh?
Oh, I'm not going to forget it. I mean, being stuffy and old-fashioned is one thing, but being a fascist is another.
I am not a fascist.
Well, you're advocating mass murder.
Let's just drop it, Doris.
No, I'm not
let's
going
just
to,
drop
not going
it.
to drop it. You stand for everything that I'm against.
Well, maybe you're against the wrong things.
But you used to believe exactly as I do. Now, what happened?
I changed.
But why?
Because Michael was killed.
How?
He was helping a wounded man onto a Red Cross helicopter, and a sniper killed him.
When?
We got word during a 4th of July party. Helen went completely to pieces. He was my son. I loved him. And for the life of me, I can't seem to cry for him. Doris, I'm sorry. About everything. I've been a bit on edge lately. Just seems to be one damn. Oh.